like Tuchel right now, right? He's getting a lot of stick from the English media. You know, they're calling him a German spy, all this kind of stuff.
So if you were to manage today, right, where would you play me?
Where would I play you?
Yes, that's what I care about.
Why are you
That's what I care
VAR? Get him
about.
off.
I heard there was a rumour, Sam, that you fined any player for shooting outside the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Is
a
that-
while. For a while. Hi, I'm Sam Allardyce. This is Midnite Boxed In. Today I'm going to make 3 statements and these guys are going to argue against me. You've got no chance. My first statement is English managers get treated harsher than foreign managers or coaches.
Good, mate. Good luck, Louis, mate.
Hi, I'm Louis. Right, Signore Allardyce.
Yes.
Let's get straight in. Tell me why you feel that way, and we can go from there.
Well, I think that statistics prove the case. Like, I mean, I'm a committee member of the LMA, and I've been for 25, 30 years. And I've watched all my fellow managers go through the whole process of coaching courses, management courses, FA courses, League Managers Association courses, even university now to get qualified. And you look at not just the amount of chances they get in the Premier League, but it's the lack of chances they're now getting in the Championship, even down into League One and League Two. So when I saw one of my fellow colleagues, who I consider to be an absolute excellent manager, Carl Robinson, get sacked after getting 81 points and finishing 3rd in the league, losing in the playoffs.
Was when he was at Salford?
Salford, yeah. And even being replaced by a foreign coach. With, I think, we're looking at the statistics, only had a 30% win record. A lot of press think that they can do better than we can. And I've had that perception for a long time. So it's a challenge we have to take on. It's a challenge that I say to everybody, you must continue to fight and continue to do it. The general direction of only getting to the the Premier League is through the leagues. It's nobody, I can't remember. I think it's only Graham Potter the last time, and he only got taken from Brighton, which was already a Premier League club.
Yeah, that was a bad time for me as a Chelsea fan.
You know what I mean? So he didn't cope well with it,
No, he didn't.
which is a shame, because that obviously reflects on us all then.
We'll get onto that bit, by the way.
You know what I mean? So, but trying to get there is an impossibility. Only by getting through a Championship club that you become the coach of, you then become a Premier League manager by getting that club promoted via the Championship.
Okay.
So we've only got Eddie Howe, who's probably challenging in the top 4, 6 in the Premier League.
As a coach, you think
As a
he's one of the
coach,
top
as a
6
head
coaches?
coach, yeah.
Okay.
And we've never had a British coach win the Premier League.
English coach.
English
British
coach.
We had Fergie,
Yeah, we've had Fergie do it many times, of course. So that gives me a lot of time with all the lads I mentor, all the lads I talk to, who want us to forge a career in this country by giving them the negatives. Because the price of becoming a Premier League coach or a fully qualified coach,
which is what I wanted to get on
pretty expensive.
Yeah, exactly. So with that though, so when you say the chances are more limited for English coaches, do you not feel that's maybe not down to just the quality of it's put down to quality of coaches available because of the price? So you look at, a lot of coaches that go through and want to work through the ranks. You look at, maybe they've talked about other English coaches that maybe been big players, Frank Lampard, for example, at Chelsea or other people. Do you think that also it's not just the club's fault, it's also down to the FA pricing it so high comparatively to Spain, Italy, even Scotland? I mean, Thiago Silva's just done his coaching badges in Scotland because it's cheaper than doing it in England. Do you not feel that is potentially down to the FA and their maybe lack of wanting to garner some quality English coaches because it's just so expensive and the quality of coaching is so much better elsewhere in terms of the courses?
Well, I don't think the courses are any better, because I've done most of the courses and I've seen most of the courses, and I've travelled most of Europe particularly, not so much further than that. To get qualified is, of course, something you must do as early as you possibly can if you want to be a coach. Sometimes too many top players, if they want to be a coach, don't take it. It's going a bit off track what you were talking about, but they don't take the courses quick enough because they think they can just become a manager when they finish playing. Well, you can't now without the badges. You can a bit in the lower end, but not at the top end. You have to get what's called the pro licence. But it's not only the cost, it's why don't the FA find them a job? That's their responsibility.
Is it the FA?
Yeah, well, you pay all that money, 20 grand, more than 20 grand to become fully qualified. You'd think the coaching jobs throughout this country would give them opportunities to go and work in this country. Most of our coaches through the LMA find themselves now working abroad, and that doesn't get publicised that much because they're quite obscure, the countries that they go and work for.
Right.
Probably the best is America.
So it's like when Potter went to Sweden and did
you
his
go
stuff
to
in that way.
Sweden, and then there's a lot go to India. So a lot of the coaches actually have to venture abroad to try and ultimately find themselves a job. And of course, to keep up your pro license coaching badge, if you're not coaching within 2 years, you have to go and pay again to do a refresher course. And I just think what you're saying is right, that the FA should be much more lenient in terms of the cost of this course. Now, if you're a member of the PFA, if you're a professional footballer, some of that course, and I don't know whether this is still the same, some of that money's provided to you as an ex-professional footballer if you joined the union. But they run courses, the League Managers Association, and I'm bound to be biased when I say this, run the best courses because they run not just coaching, they run all the psychological, all the mental, all the physical.
And is this the LMA? Do they just do England, or is it?
No, it's
Scotland as well?
It's across the board, across the world now because of social media. So it can all be linked via Zoom, and it can all be covered via Zoom, or they'll invite a group of LMA members over in the countries to talk about what we do and what we educate with. So there's a lot of education you can acquire.
Right.
And then you sit at home and you go, when is a job ever going to come my way?
I am Johnny Dutch, and I'd like to say, I think one of the biggest issues, with English coaches, it stems from not wanting to travel. And I might be wrong, you might have the better stats on it, but I look at someone like, I'll take Roberto Martinez, who came over, played in the lower leagues for Swansea and Wigan, then managed at Swansea and Wigan. And you're now looking at likes of Ashley Cole, who's now going over and managing in Serie B. I think the opportunities that foreign coaches have stems from years of playing in different leagues, understanding the culture, and having more of a worldly view of football. Whereas I feel as though a lot of the English managers, if you're League One, League Two, then you stay in, you look for a job here. Whereas you could go and look for a job in Norway, like Graham Potter did in Scandinavia, or go to the lower leagues over, learn the game abroad, and then you've got more of a wider pool of jobs to pick from. So what I've noticed, and you're seeing it more now, because we don't have many players even. It's only recently, in the last 10 years, where players have started getting signed for clubs abroad and playing for lesser clubs and thinking, I ain't going to get a chance in the first team in a Premier League team. Let me go and see if I can go to German League. Let me go and see if I can play in Portugal. That's happening a bit more, and maybe in years to come, that will sort of filter into management and players will start getting more opportunities. But I feel like foreign coaches get more opportunities because they're more worldly. They've done more and they've travelled more and they understand global football a bit more. And I think we're a little bit sheltered, maybe. Am I right?
You're not off the mark when it comes to that. You're not off the mark. But the general consensus is that the rest of Europe, don't fancy us. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't particularly like us or British or English coaches, and it's much more difficult. I'd say one of the problems, my personal problem, would be going working abroad would be the language. And because I always felt that if I was going to ship into Spain or Italy or France, it would have to be me trying to learn the language, which is very difficult for me, being a dyslexic. So I avoided the opportunities that came my way because I felt that it would be difficult to communicate with an interpreter. But other coaches are very bilingual, can speak other languages, and understand that we brought that into the LMA years ago about, look, if you want to go and work abroad, make sure you're capable of a particular language where you're going if you can. So I think you're right in the terms, but I'm not so sure that we're fancied.
Yeah, and I think that's cultural though, because if you look across it, you look at Dutch coaches. In Holland, English is almost as used the language.
Correct, they're good, I agree.
And same in Germany, I feel like we don't tend to learn. Now, I'm just saying myself, I travel abroad, I've never learned another language. I did it at GCSE for how long? Did French since I was the age of 5. I never learned it, and it just doesn't stick. Well, I think we don't, as English people, we are quite a sheltered country in terms of that. We don't need to because everyone else knows our language. So then it makes it a little bit harder. If we're not as open, I think we've got to be open to look out a little bit more, and maybe the chances might come. I mean, and then on top of which, we had the opportunities in the early years of the Premier League. We had a lot of English managers. We never won the league. Not one English manager has ever won the Premier League. And now it's almost like we got our chance to sort of, maybe we missed the boat, or maybe we now have to
It's too late now.
Yeah.
Far too late. Well, you got to remember that the Premier League is not English.
Yeah.
Right? The Premier League is an international league played in England. Because there's only Brighton and West Ham that are owned by English. Yeah. Nobody else. So there is no looking after who might be the English coach and who might not be the English coach. You got to remember that those coaches that want to work here really have to go abroad before they come back here. Because every coach that's a foreign coach brings in other foreign coaches to work at that football club. They don't stay with English coaches. Some do. But they'll have the odd one. They'll have their own one. Ancelotti's the best. I mean, you know, he has his assistant who's Paul Clement, which is Dave Clement's son in it, who's in player. He's played with me at Bolton, like you mean. So I think that he's Ancelotti's one of the best managers in the world. I mean, but what I agree in terms of us getting a chance, we have to reach the highest levels because this is
Scottish managers have done so much better. You look at Moyes. I'm sure Moyes is a friend of yours. You look at Fergie, going right back to Shankly, to Busby, Dalglish. Scottish managers have done disproportionately a lot better than English managers. That's why I do think there is a little bit of a cultural issue there.
I think then you're right, but then you got you had Bobby Robson, Howard Wilkinson, didn't you? You know what I mean? You had the challenges there, but now I think that we're just living in a worldwide web of the best players, the best managers, and the best coaches want to come. And work in the Premier League. So we can only keep educating ourselves as much as we possibly can to challenge that, and hopefully we can still get a place. But getting a place and if I was starting off now, off we go. Good question, John.
Hello, my name's Maz. Very nice to meet you, mate.
Hi, Maz.
First of all, I just want to just remind me of the question again, because you said just remind me of the question.
English managers don't get treated as well as foreign managers.
I feel like we've gone down the route of like the quality of English managers rather than why do you think they're being treated unfairly or harshly?
Well, I say that like I say now, if we're living in the world of the international game played in the Premier League, they're not considered because they're English, because most of the people that work at that club are not English anyway. So the head of recruitment and the head of people who employ the jobs are brought in by who the coaches and who the club owners are, and very few of those are English. They're all either brought in from the country that the owner is, or from across Europe, or from even across the world. So you're dealing with a culture that is insular in terms of the people that run it, or particularly the coach that runs it. So that particularly the first team. So the first team will have not only his coaches in, or his physio in, he will have his CEO, he will have his director of football, they'll have them all come together. So you've got the same problem if you want young players breaking through. So as well as coaches got a problem, young English players have a problem because they can't break through because of all the foreign players that.
But do you think the foreign managers are saying no to English players because they're English? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
is it not down to a skill issue though? Is it just they're not good enough?
There's plenty of skill issues, plenty of skill. I mean, don't forget, kids start at 6 now.
Because I think a manager or like a academy coach isn't going to go, because he's English, I'm not going to play him. Or like if he's good enough, he's good enough. It doesn't matter what country he's from. In my opinion,
I disagree with that.
What, you think they discriminate based on nationality?
Managers are biased, Biased towards
based on nationality.
Biased towards their own country. My God, man, don't you understand that?
Really?
Oh, if they could persuade somebody not to turn up for the English team as a foreign coach, they'd do it.
What you think is a bit of
sabotage? Man, it's dog eat dog, man. It's ferocious.
But do you not think, like, let's use that as an example, like Tuchel right now, right? He's getting a lot of stick from the English media. They're calling him a German spy and all this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's like
everybody gets a lot of stick being English manager, whether you're English or not. You know what I mean? So it don't make any difference. Like,
that's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, it doesn't matter where you're from. Surely, if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. I don't feel like it's down to being English or down to being German, Spanish. Like, if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. Simple as that.
But you can only be good enough if you give them the chance.
So you're saying they're not.
So you can be totally qualified and then not get the chance.
But is that because there's not good enough managers?
No, because nobody gives them the chance.
So who's an up and coming English manager that's
Well, I mean, there's like I said, there's lots and lots of them who are good enough. Good enough. Like I said, I just said before, my friend Carl Robinson got sacked at Salford.
But what league was he?
And his record, Mickey Mellon, who's manager of Oldham Athletic now, he had 5 promotions in 7 years as a manager and never got a championship managed. Never mind the Premier League. Never even got a club to take him into a championship. And how can you have a CV that says 5 promotions in 7 years?
But is that respectfully because of that? That's his level. Is that?
No, he's never given a chance to work at that level because he's in his early 40s when he did that. So I was 38 when I got in. And I started with Blackpool, which is in the bottom division, my first manager's job. And then I ended up in Ireland, right? And then I come back from Ireland for winning the league. Then ended up at Preston and became caretaker manager of Preston. So all of a sudden, you get a job, you lose a job. The stats on getting a job and losing a job are massive, unfortunately. Because if you lose your first job, 80% of those managers don't get a job again as a manager. They get a job in football, but only will they get another. So if you get 2 chances and you don't take it, more often you'll never be a manager or an head coach. But if you're a big player like Frank Lampard or Steven Gerrard, or you'll get given a bit more opportunities. The name can get you into another job, even though you might have failed at that particular. You as that big international player will get another opportunity, and then obviously you've seen Frank go some good times and difficult times.
That's right.
Thanks.
No, thank you.
Who's the best manager of all time, do you think, Sam?
Well, who's still managing at the moment is Carlo Ancelotti. You know, based on what he's achieved in his life.
I think in this country it is Brian Clough. Brian Clough is still spoke about today as one of the greatest managers of all time, because you know what he done? He took clubs that were nowhere near winning and he went and won big trophies with them. Yeah. And I think that is what, you just mentioned there's a guy there's 5 promotions in 7 years. That's fantastic. I mean, did he get to the top?
Oh, no, he never got the opportunity.
No.
He got the interviews, never quite cracked it.
No, but I mean, did he get to the top with Oldham? Because what a lot of these people do now, and this is where I think English managers, we've never reached the top. We don't reach the. I think we're quite. And I'm an Englishman, so I'm speaking from. We're just ignorant. We invented the game. And we think that's enough, and we think, it's our way or no way. As you said there, we don't like to learn other languages. We don't like to study other cultures. No,
that's me personally. Lots of other managers do.
Yeah, but they do now. But I'm just saying, I think what you see from these managers is they're creative. They innovate. And I don't think we innovate anymore. Do you know what? And I know it's going to sound like I'm blowing a bit of smoke at you guys. The last manager I ever see do anything like that was you, with Bolton. You went into Bolton. You built a base, a solid base. People were saying, "Oh, this is out of the," and then you started to add the likes of a Kocher and Julkayev and players like that, quality players, right? Yeah. We don't do that anymore. We don't do that, and you can't tell me that there are no English players that are getting chances, because as we've seen right now, right this second, the England team is better than it's ever been, even since '66. And you don't get to
the last few tournaments have been exceptionally good. I mean, I'm not so sure this. It's a bit off the track thing, but I'm not so sure this squad as good as the last 2.
Maybe
they might not be quite. I'm a bit worried about them defensively.
But we're there,
that's
right?
Side to side, we're there. We've got the players. So if you go to better English players and you want better English managers, which come from maybe being a player, some managers come from being coaches from 20, so they don't quite make it, and so they start coaching at 20. So by the time they get in the 30s, they're good enough and experienced enough in coaching terms to start getting a job in football, and then maybe make the way. In fact, Jose Mourinho never played. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you know what I mean. So there's the odd exception who's never even played football who's actually made it to the top. But I think we go forward in 2 things. If we want to make better footballers, then they need more time at the clubs. So we don't need parents driving them in after school.
Mm-hmm. No, I get what you're saying.
So if we want better footballers, because we still got the old footballers who are supposed to grow up on the street. That's what we were supposed to do, you know what I mean? Which is more or less what I did. But that can't happen anymore. And the only way we can create better footballers is the FA shirked responsibility completely and said it's down to the football clubs, all right? So the FA's controlling, schools' control over football's completely gone, physical education, which is even bigger worry, right? So clubs are the only responsible developers of young players. And there's so many young players who go missing now because they can't cope. Yeah. So, but unless if they decide they've got an elite footballer, they need to get out of school and they need to go to the club through the day.
I've got you.
So through the day. So if they want to be a professional footballer, they want to pursue that career, and that club, particularly the Premier League clubs, think they're good enough. So forget whatever subject that they're crap at. And give them a subject they're good at, which is football.
I understand
They
that.
wouldn't be the football. So parents, and there's a lot of single parents in this world, cannot afford to pick the child up after school and take him to Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, wherever it might be.
That's why they put the local.
Yeah, so they put the local satellites in.
Yeah.
But that's not the same as going to the football club and getting coached through the day.
So you say take them out of education.
Take them out. Well, they're being educated in football, and particularly every Premier League football club's got probably better facilities than schools anyway, because schools are falling apart with the concrete, aren't they? They're shutting them down.
I know all about schools.
If it gets too hot, your kid can't stay there, and they have to go home.
Yeah.
You go to a football club, it'll be totally air conditioned, so you'll be fine. But they'll have more chance of being educated in what they can do by going to the football, and also it gives the parents a breather by saying, "No, this is football. That's not coaching. Coaching starts as early as you possibly can. If I pass my pro license, it's a driving license. I decide how to drive after that."
Yeah.
So I have to decide how I want to coach or how I want to play or what I need to do to get in there. So you have to be patient. I think too many give up. You've got to keep applying. You've got to keep your nose to the ground. You've got to keep turning up. You've got to keep showing your face. You've got to keep talking to people. It's so easy to get let down. It's so easy to feel unwanted. It's so easy to fall into a mental state where lots of our support becomes mentally by like these lads who've had a job or qualified don't know what to do with their life anymore because they can't find another job.
I understand. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well done.
Players' individual abilities are more important than tactics.
Are you going to ask your question?
So, I actually just have one question for you. So, if you were to manage today, right, where would you play me?
Where would I play you?
Yes, that's what I care about.
What is going on?
That's what I care
You know
about.
what I mean?
Oh, VAR, get him off, please.
Move, man.
This is blind date.
Well, it would depend where I saw your ability. 'Cause
What would you think?
obviously, physically,
change
it would
the
be
get him off.
it would be great. Physically,
I had to ask him, where would he play me? That's what I want to know. Exactly.
All right, go on, cook, Brendan.
where would I play you? I don't know where I'd play you. Where do you normally play?
Up front? Do you think
Up front.
Yeah, straight up.
Well, you'd have to be leading goal scorer. You'd have to be able to hold it up.
I can hold up.
Certainly, physically, I think you could look after yourself.
That's right.
And I would try and play off you through midfield as much as I possibly could.
Absolutely.
Get you in the box as often as I could with crosses, and hopefully you'd be the leading goal scorer at the end of the season.
Fantastic.
Him and
That
Kevin
sounds like a
Davis. Yeah. Up top.
Is that it? Is that what you're... I thought I was going somewhere. Get him,
bro.
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Are you hearing what I'm saying? Hello, I'm Yanni. Hello, Sam.
Hi, Yanni.
How's it going?
I'm bad. How are you?
I'm all right, you know.
You're looking pretty cool, eh?
Man, do you know what? I just do what I do, don't I?
Yeah.
That's just what I'm actually a West Ham fan. I watched
Oh,
you manage
wow.
us in 2011.
Yeah.
N Power. We drew 7 games in a row.
That's very good.
We got up though, didn't we, Sam?
Yeah.
Listen.
Via the playoffs.
Yeah.
Were you there?
I wasn't. No, I
No,
wasn't there. No, I was a young and winner. I
85,000.
couldn't afford it. I think.
85,000 and 55, 60,000 West Ham fans.
Mate,
Great day.
unbelievable.
One
Against
of
your
my
old team,
best.
Blackpool. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Good though, isn't it? I think systems are winning these games and they're winning these championships at the minute. They're, guys like Arteta, obviously Pep done what he needed to do. Companies feels like all these guys feel
Did
like
well
they've got
at
their
Burnley, didn't he?
systems. You what, sorry?
He did well at Burnley.
Yeah, well, you know. I can't speak about that. But,
So-
he did in the championship.
Well, really, Scott Parker should have got the Bayer Leverkusen job. Well, after he got Burnley relegated, he should have got the Bayer Leverkusen job, because the company got the Bayern Munich job when he got relegated.
Yeah, I know, but then he's brought in his system, and you know what
That's
I mean?
me
He's done
just
what
taking the mickey back.
But
Scott's
don't you
going to love that.
So am I right in saying that a guy like Arteta
Yes.
has his whole
Wait.
system?
Oh,
Chill
shut
out.
up.
So I've got
We're not talking about
my
Arsenal.
manager.
Is he an Arsenal fan?
Seriously.
Yeah, my manager.
Yeah.
It feels like so he's got his system, and he just needs guys to play out his instructions, right?
Correct.
Is that effectively what it is?
That's what he does, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, but these guys are winning, aren't they? But I love the, power to the players. Come on, let's give them the ball and that.
So-
give the ball to the best player.
So
the fundamentals.
how
But
long you
it
watched the
doesn't seem
Premier League?
How long have I watched the Premier League? Perhaps since 2006.
All right. And now you're a big Arsenal fan.
Who?
You're a big Arsenal fan.
No, I'm the Arsenal. He's West Ham. He's an Iron.
All right, so so do we think the Premier League's more entertaining now than it was 10 years ago?
No, of course not.
No. See, so why?
Because systems are making it boring.
Correct. I agree.
I disagree.
So you're on the same line as me. So I say this. I say this. Look, my life is to find the ability of the player, the individual player. I was brought up with managers that said, this is the structure of the team, these are the tactics for the team, but you're on the field to make the decisions. That's no longer the case with coaches now. Coaches now say, play my way or no way. And you can only do my run, my pass, or you don't get in the side.
So can I ask, how complex is Ancelotti's?
Ancelotti manages.
Setup.
Ancelotti's like me.
Yeah.
He lets the players get on with it. Ancelotti manages, he don't coach.
Yeah.
That's the total difference between... Ancelotti's totally different than any modern coach today because he manages, and he manages personalities, he manages players. You do not coach Real Madrid, you manage them. They don't want coaching because they look at you and say, what are you doing coaching me? I am the best player in Europe, if not in the world.
It happened to Xabi Alonso.
What are you trying to tell me? Xabi Alonso tries to do it.
He tried.
Rafa Benitez tried to do it. Bosh. They're gone.
What, Rafa not... Do you think Rafa... Oh, no, Rafa was, like, super stringent as well. Okay.
Oh, yeah. He had his... Listen, Rafa, like any manager, whether they're from abroad or England, whatever, if they're successful, I have total... Even though I don't like a lot of them, I have total respect for them and what they've achieved as managers.
Yeah.
But all I'm on about is just us having a better chance in our own country. That's my job, to continue to promote where I've been, what I've done, and say, give other people a chance and an opportunity to work in this. If not in this country, you've got to get yourself abroad, like I said. But, that is one of the, but in terms of tactics today, when you're taking the thinking away,
Yeah.
right, then
Okay,
you're taking a big
making it
part.
robotic.
And making it So if
I know what you're saying.
if in 2000 I would ask an opinion of a player,
Yeah.
the player would give his opinion.
And now?
They'll shut their mouth.
Really?
Yeah. So it's difficult to get an opinion out of a player because they're frightened of saying what might be the wrong thing or might be the wrong thing. If I went through my life without saying the wrong thing and then the manager or the coach telling me, no, that's wrong. So you can learn from that. Now it's all about you tell us what to do, Gaffer, and we'll try and do it. So then you get this. What do you hear from the pundits today? They've no personality.
Yeah.
There's no personality. I hear that all the time. Well, there's no personality in the team because it's been coached out of them because they're not allowed to express their own opinion or their own decision on what happens on the field. Now, if it's successful, it's right. If it's not successful, it should be allowed to have an opinion from the player to maybe change it and change the way you're playing.
Okay, so we're going to bring it all back.
Yeah.
We're not going to bring it all back.
He's getting ready to cook as well. My bro
I was
Jan.
about to cook. So this is my point. You've said that you should just let the players go and do what they do.
No.
Well, you
No.
basically said
No.
No.
The
No,
base.
No, but my point is, but you're saying it. No, you can't do that to me.
As one talk about your stint at Everton,
Yes.
and you say that football is boring today,
Yeah.
and it's fair to say the football at Everton was obviously,
Yeah.
I would say so.
So would I.
And there was like to get the best out of the players. To get the best, and talking about getting the best out of the players. Before you came into Everton, Wayne Rooney had 7 goals in November. You only got 3 then for the rest of the season. Give Sigurdsson £50 million player. And
Rooney
the
was,
system
to be fair, Rooney was done.
So what position were we in when we took over?
Say this.
16th?
That's 13th, no?
No, 16th.
I'm pretty sure it's 13th.
16th.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
VAR.
16th, West Ham at home.
It's going to be hard to check this
West
one.
Ham at home, yeah. 4-0.
16th.
4-0.
Yeah. Rooney scored from
Unsworth.
inside his own half.
Yeah, Unsworth and Jack.
Yeah. Where did you finish?
So, okay, this is what I want to talk about. Okay, that was more about, in my opinion, as season tickled out at the time, it was more about getting rid of Koeman because it was so bad under Koeman.
Yeah.
Because you saw it straight away. David Unsworth never managed before that, went 4-0. So
Yeah.
I think that was more so a getting rid of Koeman problem rather than it needing to be fixed with the football that's been played.
I did the team talk for West Ham.
You did the team talk, but is David Unsworth in charge though?
No, yeah, but I did the team talk. It was my job as
What
manager.
did you tell them actually?
I just told them to go out and win because and just chill out and relax and let's make sure we get back on track because of results recently. Now, here's the problem.
Yeah.
Right, we finished 8th. Okay.
Yeah.
With a team that shouldn't have really finished 8th, but as Everton fans expected, when you spend £250 million,
Yeah.
right, and you're not in control because you come in and you're not in control of those players who've been bought, and then you look at that £250 million that's spent, and there is not a centre forward.
But you bought then
Amongst
Cenk
it.
Tosun in January.
Eh?
You bought Tosun
Yeah,
and
and
Walcott.
what happened? Scored more goals. They scored more goals than anybody else. He made more assists.
Yeah, so if you-
Walcott made more assists. Tosun
got
scored more
3.
than anybody else.
You got 3 assists.
Yeah, 3 assists. Who
Still
else had
not
more than 3 assists?
In 6 months.
Uh,
Sigurdsson got 4 assists
it's not
that
6
season.
months.
January to
End of January.
okay, 5 months. So I still don't. I think the attacking output, the volume. There's
So we
19th
bought,
in the
we
league
bought,
for shots.
we bought because of the lack of quality up front. I mean, how did you sell Lukaku and not replace
They
him?
had Calvert-Lewin that season. He got
You know what I
3
mean?
goals.
Yeah,
He
no,
got on
well,
to play
he
for
was
England.
19. He weren't capable of any more goals. You know how many shots he had at goal and how many chances he missed?
There was 4
He was
games in a row where we
he
didn't
was
have
a
a
1
shot.
in 10 goal scorer. So he had 10 chances at goal. He
But
only
then
ever
you see a
scored
manager
1.
that comes in and plays a more attacking brand football, and he excels. Ancelotti.
Who
He
does?
was- I mean, it was just needing that system to get
Well, how
the
much
best
did
out of him.
Ancelotti spend?
How much did Ancelotti spend? He
Yeah.
got James Rodriguez for free, got Allen for 15 million, and got Takura for 20 million.
I don't know about the little winger.
Bernard, he was
Bernard.
free as well.
Yeah. So how much wages is he paying?
Well, that's
know
not
that,
for
would
me
you?
to pay.
Yeah.
You had Sigurdsson as a 50 million. He's still the record signing.
Well, I didn't, but
10 years later.
I didn't sign Sigurdsson.
But do you not think with Sigurdsson and
Look,
Rooney and these
look,
players,
the
that they were capable of playing better
the
football?
whole problem about Everton was this: yeah, they were in crisis, right? And you look at the quality of the squad with all the money that they spent, and it had a lot of players
Yeah.
in certain positions, and then it had players who didn't have a position. We didn't have a position, didn't have a centre forward, didn't have a goal scorer, didn't have, you know what I mean? We didn't have in the wide areas. Balassi never recovered from injury because he was a good player. So Sigurdsson is okay. I mean, he's good on the free kicks. He could score a goal. But the whole scenario was, at this end, Jordan Pickford has faced more shots than anybody else in the entire Premier League.
Hi, I'm Clinton, and Big Sam, Uncle Sam. I want to hear you defend.
Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam is
I've
crazy.
got to pay respect to my elders. you know.
Okay, yeah.
We want you.
I want you to defend one of the greatest areas in Premier League football in terms of when you was at Bolton, because you set up a system with JJ Akacha, Yuri Djorkaeff,
Kevin Davis,
Kevin
important there.
Davis.
Yeah.
That was an ultimate system to get them
Nicholas
flying.
Anelka?
Nicholas Anelka.
Okay,
You telling me you just let them
Fernando
play free?
Hierro?
All right.
Ivan Campo.
You're telling me you didn't let them play free-throw football? You must have had a system in place to get them into Europe.
Well, the question I answered before about tactics are stifling expression, right? So I was quite adamant on tactics and the way we played, bringing myself through the lower leagues, which is no disrespect to those players, but that's the way you had to be. So when I succeeded at Bolton and got into the Premier League, and so when JJ Okocha, Yuri Djorkaeff, Fernando Hierro, Nicholas Anelka, Gary Speed, Yuri Djorkaeff, Elhadj Diouf, Stelios Nikopoulos,
That's a lot of personalities to
all
manage.
international players, all Champions League or European League winners. They turned around and said to me after a while, Gaffer, why do we still do this? My repeat possession sessions were about remembering what we need to do. And they were telling me, we know this, Gaffer, you don't need to keep going over it. So I said, fine, we don't have to keep going over it. So this is great for me. It's going to make my job easier.
So you just took a
So
time
let's
off?
see. Took the gas off. And let's see how. So my challenge to them is let's see how far we can go before I have to come in and beat you up again. So don't let me have to beat you up. We'll just continue. We continue with tactics because our tactics would be visual now. Because of technology, a lot of our tactics could be sent down onto their iPad, do it on the screen in the analysis room, and then just go out and practice it on the pitch. And not because, of course, all the fitness coaches would say, don't be out there too long because you're over fatiguing them for the game tomorrow. So we go all those elements into giving those players the best support that we can. And players like JJ Okocha, Yuri Djorkaeff, Nicholas Anelka, all these lads benefited from that and
From the systems that you put in place.
and started to play like they know they can play in the Premier League. And for them, it was a big challenge because they were at big clubs. Bolton, in all fairness, is not a big club in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they didn't want to embarrass themselves. That's what I found about top professionals. So they didn't want to. All the press and all that said they've only come for the money. They're not here. They come to Bolton. Why they come to Bolton? They're only coming for the money. Their career and what they'd finished in their career was very, very important to maintain it when they came to play for Bolton. Even though it was a different challenge for them, they took that challenge head on to make sure that they were still respected as the player that they were when they came to us. And I found that really exciting and enlightening, but it taught me how to change the way I managed or coached.
Because I could imagine if you let JJ Kutcher do his thing, you'll still be doing 100 step-overs to this day. But I would imagine, like you said, okay, JJ, when you're in the right areas, do this.
Exactly. So, JJ, you do it in the right areas, you won't have a problem for me. Do it in the wrong areas, you will. Mm-hmm. So, most of JJ's
I've got a real question.
JJ's
I've got a real question.
tricks were in the opposition's half, and that's when they paid off.
I heard there was a rumour, Sam, that you fined any player for shooting outside the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a while.
Would you
For a
consider
while.
that stifling yourself?
Well, no.
When you've got players that are Kocher and Anelka.
It's a bit of a joke. So it's purely on tactics, right, and purely on analysis.
Yeah.
So the analysis was at that time
Yeah.
that it were much better to get the ball wide and cross it than it was to shoot from outside the box.
Sounds like a system, though.
So you know what I mean. So outside the box shots, the only person that you wouldn't complain about shooting outside the box would be somebody like Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
Because he scores more goals from outside the box than inside the box. So you got certain players who can, but most of the shots don't even hit the target.
This is my point. So in terms of systems, what I find nowadays, because if you're sitting there saying, you let players sort of orchestrate and manage themselves because they knew already.
Yeah, but you're talking about the early days, mate. This is the early days. This is before I changed my style of managing, you know what I mean? Yeah. But the players then were a little bit more susceptible to my criticism.
Yeah.
Whereas I wouldn't criticise the JJ Kochers. I wouldn't criticise because there would be no need to criticise him because he'd look at me and say, who do you think you're talking to? You know what I mean? And go out and prove me wrong and go out and show this is what I can do.
You talk about someone like Anelka who was, developed and raised at Clairefontaine, and you've got all these players, the Hieros and Campos at Castillo. They all were built and developed with a system.
World class.
So they had that in them. So in many ways, and it goes into another point of mine, but in many ways, these players already had that system in them and they knew what they needed to do from that. It was almost like it was in their DNA. And then for me, I was watching something this week with Henry talking about Zone 14 and where Messi always scores from and what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And the way that Pep, when he was managing that great Barca team, and when he got Henry, he told him, you've got to stay out wide because you've got to leave the area for Messi. What systems can do is sort of platform the better players. So if you're good enough, you will get to have autonomy over what you do. But you can't, not everyone is good enough to be able to say, all right, go and do what you're doing. The top players, they do get the autonomy. I feel.
Well, that's why we had a mix of both. So we bought players with that autonomy in, and the players who stayed with us all through that era, who got us promoted, got better.
Yeah,
they had the best time of the career based on the fact that the JJ Kocher and Hieros made them better.
Yeah.
So their game improved, and they would run through a brick wall.
Yeah.
Because they were getting into a level of football that they hadn't probably played or certainly sustained for that period of time, especially the last three years, because we finished in European places at that time. But it was the beauty of their influence that they had over the players. So my influence over the players is always there. Their influence on their experience on the field was me to express what they felt to the player next to them, not to keep their mouth shut because they're frightened of what the coach would say. So if JJ Kocher wanted something and being the captain, he could more than anybody else, saying, come on, let's do this, or we're not doing that well enough, or we should. So the only time I can influence that is at half time.
Yeah.
If he can influence us as a captain on the pitch, he's got every right to do.
I think you're doing yourself a disservice because throughout your career, and you saw how important the way Kevin Davis played, and I used to love I used to hate it as an Arsenal fan going up to the Reebok and playing you.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
There
It was
a
wonderful.
system. Yeah, I know, it was horrible. And it was that you were one of my enemies as a child. But Kevin Davis and the way he played and the way people sort of played off of him, you carried that through your career, I felt. Like you just said, with Everton, you brought St. Tosin, someone who's a big hold-up man who can do that job. I feel as though you had systems which you used that sort of you maybe took to other clubs and got success, and that's why you had a long career.
I never had one system.
Yeah, but it was.
I had that system because it suited the team and suited Kevin Davis.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, you know, we talk about brainwashing in the game. Right? Brainwashing in the game is playing out from the back.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst statement and the worst portrayal of football that's happened in the last 5 years in the Premier League and in the Championship and in League One and in League Two. So you get owners of a football club now interviewing a manager or a coach and they go, what style of football do you play?
Yeah.
Winning.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can play.
Yeah. Top man, sir.
Very good. Well, let's say it this way. I think being a statsman, unfortunately, XG is a load of rubbish.
Kai!
That's not.
Good, Kai.
The XG, what's the
Expected
problem
goals.
with it? Yeah, which the problem with it is that it gets
So you think there's a problem with it as well?
misinterpreted. No, I want to know what the exact problem is with it. Is it that it gets misinterpreted as if someone doesn't accumulates this much XG that they should win, but they don't? Or is it that it's used too much as like a barometer of skill and quality?
I don't think you can my stats convince players what they can do and what they can't do. I don't think XG convinces a player about anything other than a negative. If your expected goals is far greater than you've actually scored, that's quite a big negative you're throwing at the players, like you mean. But I don't quite know why or what technology's been put in there to give you that stat, to give you that expected goals. Is it how many crosses you've had? Is it how many regains you've won? Is it how many times you get into the final third? Yeah. Is it how many retakes you get on the second ball, recycling back in the box again? I just don't know where they get the stat from and how they get the stat of expected goals.
So the way for expected goals, what they do is they take every shot that's been taken in those areas and then go, what's the percentage of those goals that get scored from that shot or from that angle or from that distance? And then that gives you the value of an XG. You're going to hate this. What you were talking about before, that's called expected threat. So my argument for XG, though, is for clubs, when they want to buy players, it can often be a good measure of if that player scored 10 goals, but his XG was 1.3. It can lead them to believing sometimes maybe that's just a fluke of a season. Harry Wilson, for example, a lot of teams are afraid to touch him because he massively outperformed his XG, and it tends to catch up. So I think in that sense, it could be useful.
I believe if I'm signing Harry Wilson, being as we were one of the first clubs to accumulate stats in 2001, 2002, which was Prozone at the time. We acquired all the stats to cover all the areas, and I like some of the stats that have come out since then. You know, where goals come from, what areas goals have come from, what is the POMO position? You know what the POMO position?
Back post.
Yeah. The possession of maximum opportunity and stuff.
Yeah.
So all those factors can get taken into account. But when it comes down, it also looks a bit embarrassing, expected goals, when it's so high and then the team's lost.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? It's like a false narrative to me.
After the
whereas
game.
I'd expect that my lads work out, or my lads did work out, depends how long you're at the club, this many crosses. This is why at the start I said you can't shoot from outside the box.
Yeah.
Because I'd prefer to get it wide and because there's more goals scored from crosses than there is from shots outside the box. There's more goals scored from long throw-ins than in the final third than short throw-ins. You know, there's more goals scored from wide free kicks as an in-swinger than an out-swinger. So you accumulate all those stats, which is more relevant than expected goals. So I can understand it's probably good for the fans looking at it,
and for
but I do think it gives you a false narrative by saying, "Oh well, our expected goals are so high. We really should have won that game."
I would say
know what I mean?
Before expected goals come in and you lose a game you feel like you should have won, you're going to say, "Oh, we created enough to win that game." It's just a number to define that.
Well, I mean, you're talking about Everton again. When you talk about Everton, you only had.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but just like he was good when he said it. Like, but it's good when the press were the negative vibe came out. You only had 3 shots on target.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had 34 shots.
Yeah.
So it's not my fault.
Yeah, but
is it? You know what I mean?
But that's just
the
an
press.
for.
But what I'm saying, the press didn't want to say, "Oh, well, Sam, like you need to improve your finishing, won't you?" and all that. We didn't have a goal scorer in the side. There's another example of how things can turn in your favour or against you, depending on where you are at what football club. So there were plenty of shots at Everton, but there weren't enough conversions. But there was a lot of defensive work because we weren't good enough. So we cut down the statistics and we improved by 60% defensively, but didn't improve much in attacking wide. But we still finished 8th because of it. Now, if you'd have given me JJ Kocher, Yuri Yokayev, Nicholas Anelka, we'd finish in Europe. But that takes time.
Yeah.
I didn't get the time. Nobody's finished higher than me at Everton, but they still wanted me out.
Yeah, I know.
So it's a question of who decides and who decides what. Like you mean.
Yeah.
So I'll never understand why you don't get another year and see how it goes. But that's by the by. It happened. But you face the same problems at Everton. But stats in terms of expected goals comes into play. And what my worry about it is when it's in the public eye and maybe get to the owners or the chairman, that they start looking at that and saying, well, it's a negative against him. We keep getting these expected goals, but we don't score them all. Let's get rid of the coach. Now, that might be me going way over the top in terms of the influence, but it actually might be a small influence on whether they keep the coach or get rid of him.
Could the argument be made for them using it as just something to help inform a decision, or do you think the people are?
I think everything can help you inform a decision.
Yeah.
So if I took that stat and said, so we looked at each individual on how many times he attempts a shot.
Yeah.
And how many times he scores a goal, as well as all the other stats, because there's a lot of other stats that he has to do, like can he win the ball back,
expected assists,
can he get back in position quickly, does he press well, or all that other stuff. But mainly, if he's an attacking player, it can add to that. On me saying to the owners, we need a player with better stats on expected goals than we've got now to get better. So go and find me one.
Okay, so with like these expected metrics, I know people say they don't exist.
I don't think it's a good telly. I don't think it's good telly.
If you were buying a player that scored 20 goals,
and
he had an expected assist of 7, would you be a bit apprehensive of it being in those 20 goals are not representative of his quality?
I would not sign any player on statistics alone. Statistics and stats was right up there, as well as eyes on.
Yeah.
Me or scouts watching, and then an individual meet between me and the player.
Yeah, for personality.
And for personality. So if for instance, like in one instance, his wife came in with him and his wife answered all the questions, we obviously didn't sign him, and that's a true statement.
His wife loved XG.
Well, yeah. So all those 3 elements are very important because particularly the money you're spending now. Because the contract and the length of the contract and the money one's greater than the fee some of the times.
Do you think Brighton and Brentford are
brilliant?
Is it because do you atone that success to their use of metrics, or do you think
both? Yeah, their use. I mean, in Brighton's terms, I mean, you know, the owner, as we all know, is actually a professional gambler, so he's well versed in all the elements he uses to be able to be successful as you know. It must be really difficult to be successful as a professional gambler. You know what I mean? And he is, and has done brilliantly. And that system that they have evolved through their algorithms or their metrics or AI now, as well as watching the player, has given them a huge advantage. I think they've made one of the few clubs that's made millions and millions of pounds in the transfer market. And Brentford have done the same on a bit smaller scale. Brentford's players are not being sold for quite as much as Brighton players are, but they're certainly there or thereabouts. And if they continue to do that, because most clubs ultimately, when they sell the best players, fail. Sooner or later, they buy a group of players that gets them relegated. Yeah. They haven't done that yet, so that's good luck to them, and they have to be very, very wary. But I believe the owner of Brighton invested in Hearts. Yeah. And look where Hearts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for the referee, but for the referee decision, they won the league, wouldn't they? You know what I mean? But that shows you how important. I'm only as good as the players I work with. If I'm going to be, if I have to be a great manager, I need great players.
What's your thoughts? One question for you: Aston Villa, they were shooting outside the box consistently last season, and if you break down the Premier League table to just goals that scored outside of the box, they would have won the league. Do you think that those obviously are low XG value shots? Do you think there's a reason for them doing that? And is it to destabilise these low blocks that like teams like England obviously struggle to break down? And do you think there's value in placing emphasis on those shots from outside the box?
Well, I think it depends what the percentage is against all the rest. The percentage of them scoring goals outside the box is pretty particularly high for this year. But if you'd have put, why did Arsenal win the league?
Corners.
Set
We're
plays.
mustard.
Yeah.
Scored more set plays than anybody ever did.
Yeah.
I mean, so that would give them a link. So they use that of it. If you've got, like I said before, if you've got good players who can shoot from outside the box and score, and I think it's a difficult task because you're hitting through a number of body of players, and you've got to beat very, very good goalkeepers from 20, 25 yards. And I think that's, it's particularly exciting for the fans, but it's not a great stat if the balance of play says if you get ball and cross it. Now, why does everybody, he's getting him off now in a minute, why does everybody play the right winger with the left foot on the right and the left winger right footed on the left? Why do they do that?
So yeah, when it comes to like XG and expected threats and all that kind of stuff, do you not feel like unless you get on board with it, you're going to get left behind? Maybe like it's a bit of a dinosaur mentality not to look into analytics.
That's twice you've said dinosaur.
Is it? I swear it's the first, wasn't it?
Next time I'll knock your head off. I just can't see it as a big stat that would influence the game based on all the others. You know,
But
so
feel like
I mean, chances in the 18-yard box or creating opportunities in the 18-yard box is a big one. Where are the best areas to score a goal from in the 18-yard box? Because that's where most goals are scored anyway, rather than outside the box. So it can play a part, but it's not up there in the top 5 or 6, I don't think. It's obviously somebody, and it depends how you use it. Some coaches may use it like in that a lot high up on the agenda. For me, it wouldn't be high up on my agenda in terms of if we got expected goals, and over the season our expected goals are far greater than our results. You might say, well, we've got to improve on that. But I mean, if you're going into the Premier League, you have to find many different ways first to survive. So expected goals is probably going to upset your players because you're never going to score enough.
But I think it's
for the expectation. You understand? So it can be a negative towards your players saying, well, we've got to do better. Our expected goals is, and we're shit again. You know what I mean? Or we're not up to screen. So you got to be careful about the negative vibe it might be. I do a year's full run through of the season wherever I was, particularly if I'm there for quite a while. But particularly Bolton, when we were new, we ran the stats for 2 years, right? And because of who we were, and because we were growing, and because we survived in the Premier League, from there we grew to be better. But in the first 2 years, we only ever won a game when we had less possession than the opposition. We weren't capable of winning a game when we had more possession than the opposition because we weren't good enough. Now that sounds really strange on here now. But what we did was, when we were trying attacking, we wouldn't score, and we left ourselves too open to the opposition, who had better players than we, and they'd score. So we had a situation where, right, we've got to find better players now, where we get more possession than the opposition, and we win, rather than actually only relying on ourselves winning on having less. Which means we're going to defend him more, we're going to defend longer, which means it's not as good entertainment, particularly at home for your fans. So there's many ways when you try and improve, as I say. Somebody says, like, and I'd say, if you sign me better players, I play more entertaining football and still win. If I can't sign better players, I have to keep the team in the Premier League. I have to keep earning the 240 million quid, and the owners won't say anything other than privately, Sam, keep us in the Premier League first, and then if you're at another club, well, it's time to develop, and we can go on. We can go higher. We can go and finish in mid-table, but now we can get to Europe. Can we get to a cup final? So all those things have to be set out in terms of to try and achieve your goals. So that's us planning for the future. So we're not just doing this season and that's it. We're doing this season, next season, the season after. So we're telling the owners, if we go to develop, this is how we do it, and it's up to them whether they find the money or not.
Yeah, I think final thing. I know I'm getting voted off in a sec, but I just want to say, I wanted to say that I think any kind of stat or barometer, it's a
can be
supplement.
helpful,
Yeah,
yeah,
last thing, I don't think it should be used as like, you know, the eye test is just as important as having stats behind you, as you mentioned as well. So I think, for me, I don't think it's the end of the world. Like having those stats is, I think, just benefits you if anything. And that's
I think any stat you get, it's entirely up to you how you use it.
Interpret it, yeah.
So if you feel it's necessary, then you use it. You know, the thing is you've got to decide what stats are best for you, because there's so many. You would confuse the players if you keep bringing them all out.
It's like VAR, isn't it? You know, it's the idiots. It's the idiots that are using it, isn't it?
I've got one.
It's the idiots that are using it, mate.
One quick one.
Fuck off, Luke.
I agree with you on XG. I think it's a load of bollocks. So I'm not touching that. And Kai was really boring.
Get off
So I'm
then.
going to something really interesting. You talk about the eye test, because from what I remember, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here, but you used to watch some games from higher up, and obviously you go to different places. Do you think that's something which people have forgotten about and should be considered more, and in terms of the eye test, it is massively undervalued?
Well, realistically, we should all be in a box.
Interesting.
Yeah, we should all be in a box which is reasonably isolated, and we should have our statsmen.
A bit like rugby.
And just like rugby. I mean, rugby turned to this years ago. You know what I mean? So you'll get live stats now at every football match. So live stats are coming in on your players. Your analysts can sit and while they can tell you about the live stats, I can communicate with I did it by just sitting in the director's box and having a screen next to me that had a 15, 20-second delay.
And that was a pro zone, right? When it was kind of
pro
first
zone,
coming in,
yeah.
right?
And the live feed from the Premier League. So we had to have permission to get the live feed from the Premier League. So we would do it that way because two things. One is my sports psychologist told me, get upstairs before you have a heart attack, right? Because you shout and scream like a lunatic, you know, because you know what I mean, because you do, you know, and that makes you be calmer and make better decisions. And then you can communicate down in the earpiece. Yeah. I mean, the first time I had an earpiece, I got orders for pizza 3 times because it wasn't a blocked off channel like it was. Just a pure channel. So there were three pizzas from Mama Papa's or whatever it was. Like, I mean, what's this? Like, I mean, anyway, so we got secure lines and the physio, the assistant manager, and of course the fitness coaches. But now you can look at all that stats as happening, and you can change systems, you can move players, you can substitute players based on the information that's given to you.
Do you think it's something that coaches will consider in the near future, or do you think it's something where people will look at its dinosaur?
I would say I can't. I was told I couldn't do it.
Okay.
Because the fans want to see me on the bench. So the owner said you can't sit up there because the fans don't like it. You must stand down there and get abused.
And that'll do.
That has been Midnight Boxed In. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you could like or subscribe, I'll see you in the next one.
Good, Sam. Big Sam.
I can't believe you have to wave you in.